especially for Protoss compared to Zerg or something. Of course, Terran has a lot of units as well, but for let's actually make some more gateways, as we probably need more gateways. There's gonna be plenty of different units that you're gonna have throughout the game, depending on what kind of situation or what units you're planning to go for. Now, you want to keep a mental set list in your mind of what units go to which hotkey, because sometimes people mix up and they just like assume they just like place any units to a certain hotkey. So, for example, in a situation where you have High Templars, right, with this army, right, now you can see that in the bottom it has only the High Templar spell. That will require you to tab through to get into the other spell. So I have mine as space, so I could tab through. Now, sometimes this tabbing could actually lead you to a non-spell unit. And in this case, I always usually separate my High Templars from my main army. So maybe I have this at 1, and then maybe I have my High Templars at 2, right? Or and then maybe my Observer, which if this High Templar was out, I would actually have this as 1, and then my Observer at 2, and then if I start getting High Templars, then I'll switch this at maybe 5, and then have this at 2. So this allows you to control your spellcaster units, and then things like blink maybe. So sometimes you have just gateway units and then maybe blink. You have these non-stalker units at 1, and then this stalkers at 2, and this just allows for better unit division and control. All right. So have a set mind of what units that you want to have in each hotkey. So sometimes for Colossus, right? Depending on the situation and stuff, you might want to at least actually let's just wait for this Colossus to come out first. So sometimes you want this Colossus to be with your main army or something, and then sometimes you want to separate it and might go with the Colossus separately. So sometimes, like in case for Immortals, they're expensive units, right? And sometimes you want to either separate them or individually micro them and have them in the same hotkey. Now, for Immortals, because there's not really any use for separating them, because usually you will have to separate like units that have like certain purposes, like spells or mobility or stuff like that, right? Or just because they're a different unit, like the Phoenix. Now the Phoenix, you probably want to separate, on a different hotkey. Now, in the game where you have actually, let's say, a Void Ray with your army, you're going more of a Stargate unit army instead of a Gateway unit army. In the game where like you're harassing, you're expanded, right, against a Zerg, and you want to harass with your Phoenix, right? And then you also have some Void Rays. You can actually forget about hacking your ground army for a little while, because you want to use your hotkey for priority purposes, and at the moment your priority is to damage the Zerg with air units. So you can have these Phoenix at 1, and then these Void Rays at 2, and then you can harass around, maybe kill off a Nexus or 2, and then you could go, and then once you find out he's going Hydras or something and you can't really attack anymore, you can return to your army. Alright, and let's say you have this army, and then you could re-hockey it by just boxing them CTRL 1, right, holding down CTRL 1, and then maybe hockey these and then CTRL 2, and because the Void Ray doesn't have any spells, your Phoenix doesn't have any overwrite spells, so you can hockey these at 2 and then hockey this at 1, and then you can micro. Now some people have set up their hockey so they have more hockeys, So maybe they hotkey their nexus at maybe 4 or 5. So they'll give them additional hotkey slots to make it more easier. Or you could use hotkeys like the 9 or 0, all the way to that end. So it just depends on your hotkey setup and what you're comfortable with. So like I said, make sure you have a set list of what units go to what different hotkeys, and then you want to constantly use the mechanics that I just taught you about transferring workers and also hotkey. The most important thing you should take away from this lesson, if anything else that you don't take away, is just the hotkey part, where you're learning to rewrite hotkeys, adding units to hotkeys, and deselecting units from hotkeys, because that just makes the game flow more easier. And I know some of you probably thinking like, hotkeys, they're simple, everyone, it's like the basics and stuff, but you're pretty surprised at how many people especially in the lower leagues that don't utilize hotkeys to their best extent to make it more efficient. Sometimes they just like hotkey them only when they're attacking or they're moving out to attack. But you want to actually hotkey throughout the whole game, because sometimes I know like some players they will make at the beginning of stages, usually they have like a stalker, maybe 2 stalkers, and a zealot right here. Right? And then once their zealot comes out, they don't really hotkey it. Now, in the case where you're actually blocking with the zealot, like right here, so that zerglings doesn't run by, it's okay to not hotkey it, but then you should at least hotkey the stalkers, right? Because sometimes if you hotkey your zealot with your stalker and you tell it to attack, it will actually the zealot will actually move out, and the zergling could just pass by it and run to your base. But besides that, usually you want to always hotkey your army. So basically, right now, if I have this zealot and stalker and I'm warping in units, right, I want to immediately box them CTRL 1, and I want to do that immediately, right? And I know some of you actually may come across this problem where you're actually warping in units. Wait, yeah, warping in units. Hold up. Just waiting for the cooldown to go. And then you immediately hotkey because it's a reactionary routine kind of thing, and then you kind of like run across this, and then you want to deselect these. So you again press 1, and then hold down Shift, and then click them until and then rewrite them by pressing CTRL and then 1. But you can also hold down CTRL and then hold down Shift, and then just press once. That will automatically deselect all the same units, and then you can press CTRL 1 again. So either that could work or the other way works. So sometimes when you're having basically this army where maybe Zealot, Stalker, and Sentry, right? Let's just say this one right here, and then you want to actually only have your Zealot and Sentry at 1. You can tab on 1, right, which will automatically select all your units. Hold down the CTRL and then hold down Shift, and then click on this, click on the stalkers, and then this will just deselect all the stalkers in your control group. And then you have to, of course, rewrite the hotkey right away, because or else your stalker won't be fully deselected from the hotkey. So basically, this is just either way. You can either double click on the stalkers, move it out, right, and then box this whole thing, which will take a little while if because you gotta wait for them to move and get out of the way before you can actually box them, and then CTRL 1 again, and then CTRL 2. So just basically get used to all these like different deselect and adding and rewriting hotkeys, and you will find that you will be able to play much more with much more control and stuff, and with much ease, and also play a little bit more faster at least. So hopefully you refine your game with these mechanics tips, and then next time, of course, we'll be talking about some maybe, I guess, depending on what I decide to do, but try to get used to this mechanics thing first, and then I'll see you guys for the next guide. And I know some of you probably thinking, huh, this is kind of like basic and fundamental, and no point in really watching. But you might be learning a few things here too, in the upcoming video. So just stay tuned, and hopefully some of you will actually benefit from this. So until next time, remember guys, know your station, and peacing out.